All right, example 6. They want us to write this equation in vertex form. All right, vertex form looks like that. Y minus something equals something times x minus something squared. That's vertex form. Okay, just a quick word about algebraic structures of forms. Like in this case, vertex form. When you see a minus sign in the structure, that means the sign that you're looking at in the problem is opposite of what it's supposed to be. So if I see y minus 7, k is positive 7. If I see y plus 3, k is negative 3. So when there's a minus in the structure, the number that's here is the opposite sign of what it's supposed to be for real. All right? And the purpose of vertex form is it gives us two very clear pieces of information. It tells me the value of a. This is the exact same a that is the ax squared plus bx plus c, that same a. So it tells me what a is. If a is positive, the parabola turns up. If a is negative, the parabola turns down. So if I can see what a is, I can very easily tell if the parabola is turning up or down based on a's value, the number in front of this parentheses here. The other thing it tells me is the vertex. The vertex coordinates are exactly h comma k. Whatever's with x is the x coordinate, whatever's with y is the y coordinate. Okay. So our challenge in this problem and problems like it is to transform what we're looking at, y equals negative 2x squared plus 8x plus 1, into that structure there. Okay, it just takes a little bit of algebraic manipulation, and it takes some completing the square. And there's one little tricky part to the completing the square here. It's the same completing the square we did a moment ago on the other problems, but there's just one little tricky part I'll show you when we get to it. So here's how it works. Everything is about making this thing look like that thing. And the first step to make this thing look like that thing is to get the x's all by themselves, everything that's not x on the other side. So currently y equals all that stuff plus 1. All this stuff needs to be by itself. The y has to be with everything else. So I'm going to move the 1 to the left. So I'm going to get y minus 1 equals negative 2x squared plus 8x. So if I was writing down step 1 here, I would say isolate the x's. Next thing. I'm going to be completing the square to create this structure. X minus h squared, I need to complete the square to make that happen. I can't complete the square if there is a number in front of x squared, right? I can't have a number there. Whatever that number is, I don't care what it is, no matter how pleasant it makes the problem or how unpleasant it makes the problem, whatever that number is, I'm going to factor it out. It looks like this. I put negative 2, whatever that number is, parentheses. I don't care if it's a common factor or not. I'm just going to write whatever that number is, parentheses, and then I'm going to divide this and this both by it. So negative 2x squared divided by negative 2 is positive 1x squared. That magical thing that I want to have anytime I'm completing the square, I want positive x squared, right? It just so happens in this problem, positive 8x divided by negative 2 is negative 4x. That also divides nicely. Even if that said 3x and that makes negative 3 halves x, I don't care. This has to be 1x squared for this to work. All right, so whatever this number is, take it out, divide by it, and leave some space. That step has no effect on this side, so y minus 1 remains. Okay, now, here's where it gets a little weird, not immediately, but if I was completing the square, if I was just doing a regular completing the square problem, what value is b currently?
Negative b. 4.
B is negative 4, right? And again, when we do b over 2, we pretend the sign's not even there. So 4 over 2 would be what? 2, and then 2 squared would be what? 4. So I'm going to add 4 right here. Okay. Now, where is plus 4 located? At the end, but where is it specifically in this problem? If you were to describe the location of 4 currently, it's inside what? Inside the parentheses. What is the parentheses being multiplied by? 2. What kind of 2? Negative 2, right? So I've added a total of positive 4 inside the parentheses here. This is the weird part. And it's not super weird, but it's just, it's a rule of mathematics. If I add something to one side, I have to add the same amount to the other side, right? And it looks like I added 4, doesn't it? But what I added was 4 inside of parentheses that's being multiplied by negative 2. So in essence, what I've actually added to that side of the equation is not positive 4, but actually negative 8. Can everybody see that? Because 4 is inside the parentheses, negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. That's how I've actually changed the value of this equation. So over on this side, I have to add a negative 8. You don't get that? All right, so what did I add?
2 or 4.
And what's happening to everything inside the parentheses? Being times by that, right? So I added 4 in the parentheses. That 4 is being multiplied by this number. So if I was to distribute, it's going to be negative 2x squared minus, or sorry, plus 8x. It'll be minus 8, right?
Yeah.
So I've actually added negative 8, so I have to add negative 8.
Where did that 4 come from then?
The 4 was half of 4 squared is 4. Well, half of 4 is 2, 2 squared is 4. Well, that's the normal completing the square thing we've been doing, right? Going back here, we took half of 170 is 85, 85 squared is 75, 1725. Right? It's the same completing the square thing we keep doing. I want this to be a perfect square trinomial. I take half of 4 is 2, 2 squared is 4, plus 4, but it's really plus negative 8. So I have to add a negative 8 over here. All right. So be very cautious when you're doing this. It's not always plus 4 plus 4. And right now you've been doing that a lot with this practice, so you're kind of accustomed to doing that, so be careful that that's how you handle it. So then, if I add all this stuff up over here, I've got y minus 9, and over here I got negative 2 parentheses squared, and I'm going to factor this the same way I've been factoring it. I'm going to take the square root of x squared is x, the square root of 4 is 2, the sign of the middle term is minus. And now look at the structure compared to what it's supposed to look like. Y plus or minus something times a number, or equals a number times x plus or minus something squared. So we got vertex form. It says what is the maximum or minimum value of the graph of the equation. So now, take a look at this. A is negative 2. If A is negative 2, that means the graph, this is ridiculous, A equals negative 2, that means the graph is going to go like that. If the graph goes like that, what does the vertex represent?
A maximum.
A maximum. So, it says what is the maximum or minimum value of the graph of the equation? So the maximum of what? Okay, so we need this number here too, right? Okay. The maximum happens at the vertex, right? The vertex is h comma k. H is whatever number is being subtracted. So again, that says minus 2, so the h value is positive 2. And the k value is whatever is being subtracted here. That's positive 9. Change the sign with the x, change the sign with the y. The vertex, the value of the vertex is the y coordinate. So the maximum value is positive 9.